Okay, in this problem we're dealing with some coffee beans that are being roasted, and we're told that we start out with a certain weight of coffee beans, and after they're roasted they're going to lose 18.5% of their weight. So the roasting process presumably eliminates some why, so it takes the water out or whatever, and so it takes away some of the coffee beans' weight. We lose 18.5%. And then we have some ending weight, and our ending weight we want to be 196 kilograms. So if we want to end up with 196 kilograms, what do we have to start with so that after we lose that weight, we'll end up with 196. So we could start up. We know we're going to have to start with more than 196, so let's just pick a number. I don't know, 210. All right. So let's go. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Let me see something here. Yeah, 210. Okay. So let's see, 18.5% of 210. So remember, 18.5% we'd write as a fraction. That's 18.5 over 100. But it's easier to deal with this as a decimal, actually. So if you were to actually punch this into your calculator and see what it is as a decimal, it's 0.185. And notice really we're just shifting the decimal place over twice to the left. That's what dividing by 100 does. So to find what 18.5% of our starting weight is, remember when we're dealing with percents or decimals, and you see the word of, it means multiplication most often. So 18.5% of the starting weight is 18.5%, but we have to represent it as a decimal or as a fraction. 18.5 times 210. And that'll give us our ending weight. So let's see here. 210 times 0.185 is 38. Oh, I'm sorry. It's at 38. It's 38.85. All right. 38.85. I misspoke. That's not our ending weight. That's what we lost, right? So we lost this much. So then I have to take 210 minus that. So 210 minus 38.85 gives us 171.15. 171.15. We wanted 196, so that's not going to work. And I think it should make sense that if we started out with 210, we lost some weight, we ended up with 171, but we wanted 196, that we should start with more. So let's try with let's try to do it all with 220. 220. So 18.5% of that, that's 0.185 times 220. So 220 times 0.185 is 40.7. So we're going to lose 40.7 pounds. And 220 minus 40.7 is 179.3. 179.3. And we wanted 196. Okay? So we're not quite there yet. Let's try and make a big jump, mostly for the sake of saving time. And we'll jump all the way up to 240. 240. So we want to find out how much we're going to lose. We have 240 times 0.185. That's we're going to find out how much we're going to lose. So 240 times 0.185 gives us 44.4. 44.4. So take 240 minus 44.4, and that gives us 195.6. 195.6. And you can see here we wanted 196. So we're super close. We need just a little bit more. But I might play around a bit. And like I'll go up a pound and then I'll be too much. I'll go down a half a pound and that's not enough. And I might have to kind of really whittle it down. It'd be nice if I had a method where I could just hone in on the number exactly. Well, there is. We just have to kind of look at what we've been doing. So in this first column, we have our starting weight, W. Okay. In the second column, we've been taking our starting weight and multiplying it by 0.185%. So we have 0.185 W. And then over here, we're just subtracting the amount we lost from the original weight. So it's W minus 0.185 W. And in the end, we want that to equal 196. So we just have to rearrange this so that well, basically we have to solve this equation, right? So I'm going to start by dividing out a W from each of these. I could think of this as combining like terms, by the way. 1, because if I divide W by itself, I just get 1, minus 0.185 equals 196. And then I can just divide by this whole 1 minus 0.185, which, I mean, that's just a number I can punch into my calculator, right? 1 minus 0.185 gives me 0.815. So W equals 196 divided by 1 minus 0.185, which I already know what that is. That's 0.815. So I can do 196. Let's find out what that is. Divided by 1 minus 0.185 gives us 240.49. 240.49. That's approximate to round it off a little bit. So about 240.49 pounds. Now it would take us a long time to get there using guess and check, but by setting up this formula, and it helped to do a couple of guess and check first to sort of kind of figure out what procedure we're using to do this calculation. Also, I wanted to point out this number 1 minus 0.185. Remember that this 0.185 was 18.5%. And 1, if you think about it, is 100%. 100% minus 18.5% would be 81.5%. So if you think about this, if I lose 18.5%, I'm left with 81.5%. So I could have actually simplified this equation by saying that our starting weight, I'll call it W, and simply I want to know what is 81.5% of that starting weight. So I would just multiply times 0.815 to get our ending weight. I save myself a step that way. And then I would just divide on each side 0.815 to get my final formula there. So again, we took our problem, we just made a table out of it, have my starting weight, a guess and check table. Here's my starting weight. Here's the part I'm going to lose, 18.5%. I just have to remember that's the same as 0.185 or 18.5 over 100. Here's my ending weight. I just went through and I guessed, well, if this is what I start with, here's what I lose, here's what I end with. And I just kept working until we got close, but we're not really close enough, so we want to come up with a formula. So I think, well, what are we doing? Here's our starting weight. We're losing 0.185 times that starting weight. So starting weight minus 0.185 times that starting weight should equal 196. And then just work through solving that equation to get 240.49 pounds, a number that we would probably never get with guess and check, or if we did, it would take forever.